They hyping. You know who's the only ones? You know who Brian Windhorse is?
Brian Windhorse?
Yeah, from the ESPN, the fat guy.
Yeah, of course. Brian, yeah.
He's the only one defending that trade, which is weird because he's normally not a Knicks fan like that.
He's just mad smart.
Yeah, bro. So he's like, yo, have we not learned from the other Paul George trades? Remember when he went to OKC with Russell Westbrook? You remember the first time he got traded to Indiana? I mean, from Indiana?
Who?
Paul George.
Oh, Paul George. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, when he was playing with Roy Hibbert and the boys
Yeah, but then he got traded to play with Russell Westbrook.
in OKC.
Same shit. They were hyping it like crazy. Russ. I
That's
remember,
when they gave up Shea for.
Yes. No. Because that was the
that was the
Clippers
next
trade.
trade.
I'm
That
talking
was the
about
next trade.
when he was in OKC, they were going to win. Russell Westbrook getting triple doubles. That's when he was like Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Nothing.
Nah,
Then he gets traded to the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard for the Shy trade.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Nothing.
I think it was like 4 years. The first year, he tore his
Something.
something. Kawhi got hurt. Second year, Kawhi didn't get hurt. He got hurt again. Third year, both got hurt.
Yep.
And they all exited before the conference finals each year since 2019.
And last year, contract year, might I add, so it's not a surprise that Kawhi and Paul George both played like 60-plus games. I'm just like, I don't want that
in
in
the
my
playoffs,
team.
they gassed out. And then giving James Harden that money too, they're not looking to win right now.
Bro, I don't want that in my team, bro.
But no, the Knicks, though, they made a significant move because now their wing players can keep up with Boston's wings. And it's crazy because, you have, I know Porzingis is hurt for 6 months, but, he'll be back for the playoffs. You got Porzingis, Tatum, and Brown. Those guys, could just score at will on the wing with their shooters. Now, Mikal Bridges, who plays 82 games a year.
Bro.
I'm excited to see how Tibbs works the shit out of him. But no, it's cool. It's exciting. I guess, the real competition for the Knicks is going to be Boston, and I guess we'll see how Philly,
Let's see if they stay healthy.
Embiid stays healthy.
Embiid has never made the playoffs no one makes it at 100%, right? You played 82 games. But, I guess to the standard of what 100% is in the playoffs, he's never even been close to that. Let's say 70% is the standard, right?
Yeah, and if he was healthy, he's the best shooting big man of all time. Like they said, the other best shooting big man was Patrick Ewing, years ago, and he just shattered that by just the way he plays. He's like a mix of a Michael Jordan and a freaking Ewing and Hakeem.
He's nice.
He just doesn't stay healthy because if he stays healthy with Tyrese Maxey, who just signed an extension, and they got Paul George now and a few good bench guys, they're the team besides Boston to beat and the Knicks. So we'll see. But no, I like the Knicks, man. We're deep. We got a good bench. Still not getting rid of McBride and a few of those guys.
You saw that?
Yeah,
The Nets were hyped, thinking that we were going to have to include him, and instead we signed Shake Milton and then just added him.
And people overestimate the draft picks because in that time the draft pick's going to be worth less, and it's also we have 5 first-round picks, or 4 first-round.
Bro,
picks
we got 5. We gave up, I think 6 or 4 or 5, whatever we gave up. But those picks, especially from the Knicks, if we expect to win, which I think we are, it's not like we're going to be lottery anyway. We're going to be late first-round picks.
And a lot of people don't talk about it. The key to that Mikal Bridges signing, which I know you know, is the OG Anunoby re-signing.
Yes.
So that's what we knew we were going to get him for. I think it was 5 years.
Yeah.
They gave him over $200 million.
But
something? Him with Mikal Bridges, it's not about the individual all-star. It's this collective team. And look how the Celtics won. They had a collective unit. It's not about bringing 3 superstars to a team and then you have nobody playing, because the Warriors were the cheat code, and besides that, the only other super teams that worked were LeBron teams.
Yeah.
So LeBron isn't really creating super teams. He's just that good with another star, and then he needs a few role players. Other super teams like Kevin Durant and
Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden. I mean, that shit was an epic fail.
Yeah, same thing for Durant in Phoenix.
Durant in Phoenix with Beal. I could have told you that was going to fucking fail. Denver, right? Denver was Jamal Murray. I don't know if he's always kind of an all-star, right? And then you got Jokic, who's a monster, but then you have a bunch of really good role players. Aaron Gordon, really good role players. That's what's winning
Caldwell
now.
Pope.
Yeah.
And the Lakers had that, and they let it all go because they kept trying to create a super team and bring over Westbrook and bring over
no need for
such guys that weren't even really going to help the team. It's a different game now. Now after the 2010-2020 run where LeBron was on, creating super teams, now it's back to
team
homegrown, can you develop in the G League, and really build. So it's cool to see what OKC does, because their general manager, him, Leon Rose, and another guy I forget is just like the top guys where like they separate themselves from everybody else. Like OKC still has picks. They just picked up Isaiah Hartenstein from the Knicks. Great pickup.
Yeah, bro. That was their biggest signing in history. You know that? Like,
really?
Money wise.
Wow. They're so good.
Yeah.
They feel like they're worth more as like a team than like going to get that individual superstar to make them better now. Because Shea's still only 26.
That's crazy.
Everybody else on the team is like Jalen
Williams.
He's a beast.
Who's a beast.
They
I
got
never
him,
seen him.
They got him both from the Clippers.
That was
trade.
one of the first round picks that, imagine the Clippers
Crazy.
could have had Shea, Jalen Williams. I mean, who knows what happens, but let's just assume, right? They could have had Shea, Jalen Williams, Kawhi. That would have probably got him closer to a chip.
Yeah, and it's just like there's 6 or 7 teams in the West that just aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So then now it's like the tiers are like tier 1 is
Minnesota.
Dallas, Minnesota, Nuggets,
Yeah.
and
I would just say those three, honestly.
yeah, and then like the next tier, if Ja Morant's healthy, right? You have Memphis, you got
Sacramento.
you got the young teams.
Yeah.
Then like the third tier is like the teams we're used to growing up watching, like
The
Steph
Lakers.
Curry, the Warriors, the Lakers,
Yeah.
and like a few of those guys that just aren't able to get it done anymore. And it's like crazy how packed out the West is. It's wild.
Yeah, the East got strong. Now that with because now you're talking about top 4 teams being Boston, New York, Philly, and Milwaukee.
Yeah, Milwaukee healthy is going to be a problem too. You know, Giannis, he's the Greek freak for a reason. I feel like he's a top 5 player in the NBA healthy.
Yeah.
And he can really like change a team. And they did something more homegrown too, right? Like you had Chris Middleton. That Drew trade really gave Boston like a ring, I feel like, because it was no need to get rid of him for, in my opinion,
What did they
Damian
give
Lillard.
up? It was Dame. Yeah,
they got Dame. They gave up Drew, and I think like another
that
pick or
threw
something.
me off, bro. Like, what? I mean, I get it. Once again, right? You get caught up in that superstar shit, but it's like, what would I be doing about Milwaukee? I'm getting another wing.
Yeah.
I already got Drew.
Yeah, he's a great two-way player. Even though he's like 34, 35, he plays a lot younger than he is, and he's the best like pound
Probably,
for pound
right?
defender for the in the NBA. Like all basketball players always say Drew Holiday is the hardest to guard because he can guard a 1 through 5. He gets super low on defense and he really makes people work compared to Rudy Gobert, who can only guard bigger guys.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what happened every time he was switched on Luka, bro.
Or Jokic. You know, they just had their way with him.
Yeah.
And like Drew was guarding the
Everybody.
best player on every team in the playoffs.
Switches, no problem.
And his championship pedigree, he really changed the culture in Boston. Where
and Devin White too. Remember?
Oh, Derek White's a beast.
Derek White,
he just got a contract extension.
Paid.
Shout out to Derek White. I love him.
Yeah.
Dude could rebound, assist, score,
Everything.
and he's clutch. His clutch percentage of just like he's always where the ball is at the end of a game.
Josh
and Jason
Hart
Tatum and sometimes steps away from the big moment and like does a fadeaway shot. Him and Drew Holiday and Brown are great to offset Tatum because they attack. And Drew Holiday knows he doesn't need the ball at the end of the game. Derek White's just always ready, and it's going to be Brown and Tatum's game. But no, yeah, Boston was super exciting to watch. Yeah, people were sleeping on them because like the East got hurt, but I was like, they did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
You beat up on the bad teams, just like in business. You're going up against like a bum, like you're going to close over them or make more money than them. Like do what you're supposed to do, and then lose to the big guys. Like you're going to anyway. But
I don't know how. I don't understand salary cap. Anyone who tries to understand, like, you don't know shit. How the fuck did Boston? Like, I'm assuming they're just paying ridiculous like luxury taxes because they paid everybody.
Yeah, they just paid Brown and Tatum $300
and
plus mil,
Derek White
$200
and Drew
mil.
got paid like a couple months ago.
Yeah, that's mostly their whole salary at this point, and then everybody else is a super niche role player, minimum players. But yeah, they definitely went over. They hit the luxury, but I don't really know how it's going to work with the new CBA rules that they're changing now. But yeah, good for them,
bro. And another thing that people sleep on is the Knicks contracts. Yo, is there another team that has more team-friendly contracts in the NBA? All jokes aside.
Well, it's crazy. The superstar on the team, Jalen Brunson,
making $25 a year.
Yeah, 4 years.
4 year, $104 million.
He's super underpaid.
Mikal Bridges is making $20 million a year, and we have him for 2 years locked in. OG's maybe overpaid but in the grand scheme of things, like. That's just the market, right? Like you are what the market
NBA is different than it was. Like Michael Jordan's total career earnings was $90 million.
Yeah.
LeBron James just got a 2-year extension at 40 to
That's
42 for $110 million.
That's fucking crazy. No, bro, he's making 50 a year. 2 years. 50
it's 110.
Yeah.
110 mil.
So 55.
Yeah, 55 a year.
55.
So it's like it's crazy just to see where the market's at.
He basically when he signed that, he basically just said like, I'm just trying to get paid. And
yeah,
like,
because he was gonna take the discount, but then all the players that he wanted to sign don't want to play with him or them. You know, Clay obviously isn't gonna go to the Lakers and deal with that pressure when he can go to Dallas, have a fresh start. You know, not be the main guy, but still be a great role.
But not for nothing, like if you're a shooter, especially if you're a shooter, I feel like LeBron revives your career. Because you're going to get so many open looks.
You're going to get a lot of open looks with Luka and Kyrie, too. They really spread the floor, and the difference was Dallas missed shots. If they threw a wing in the corner while Luka is creating 2 or 3 defenders, the guy's averaging a triple-double. Tim Hardaway was missing shots. Whatever his name is, Tucker.
Yeah.
PJ Tucker.
Oh, PJ Tucker.
He missed a lot of shots.
He had a good run.
And, a lot of their role guys just didn't step up. But yeah, with Clay, I feel like that's a big move for them. You know, they needed another role guy, and it's hard to get back to the finals in the West. You got a lot of guys to beat.
You got
a lot of guys to beat.
From round 1 all the way to the Western Conference Finals. It's going to be a competitive
There's 4 out of
team.
5 great teams, and one of them's going to get bumped in the first round, just by statistics.
So crazy.
It's crazy, but no, I'm excited. The NBA. You know, people try to say like the 90s, 2000s, 80s was better, but it's like if you look at it, there's never been more dynamic players in the NBA. Usually there's like 2 or 3 really good teams on each coast, East and West, and now it's crazy. You know, there's like 12 good teams, and when guys are healthy, there's like 4 guys averaging over 30 points a game and triple doubles. You know, it's like that wasn't a thing. It was Jordan, and then it was
Oscar Robertson, the only one getting triple doubles.
Oh yeah, it was so much change.
The East too. I think like people are sleeping on the quality of the East. Like there wasn't a lot of quality, but Indiana's going to be better, right? So now you're talking about them being probably like the 5th seed. Miami, they're always there because of Eric Spoelstra. So like that's 6.
Yeah, good playoff team.
6 solid teams. I mean, the East is always like since I've been watching basketball, has always been the weaker conference, but they got better. I'm excited.
Yeah, and LeBron left. You know, LeBron was in the East. He went to 8 out of 10 championships. You know, those years he was there, so it's crazy. But no, the East is good, the West is insane, but it's just crazy also from the business side, like the market that the NBA's created for themselves, where like the partnerships, the TV deals they're getting now with Netflix, Hulu, all those streaming services is way bigger than any TV deal that was going down. Yeah, it makes sense. You know, it's very lucrative, and they can change. You know, like. Those services are very dynamic, where like television was very like.
Do you have cable?
No,
I don't have cable, bro.
No, I don't think most people under like 40 years old, I don't think have
That's
cable.
That's it, right?
And even like my dad doesn't even have cable anymore. My mom's still old school, but like a lot of people, you know, you say the sports, and then it's like, all right, cool. Like now all these packages, HBO Max has a sports package that's with it,
and it has TNT. So the Thursday and Tuesday games are on.
There's so much going for the streaming services, and it's cool. Like these NBA guys, like Bronny, you know, LeBron's son just signed. 3-4 years, he's getting like 12 to 15 mil,
something like that.
So like that's crazy for a rookie contract, like compared to where things were when like JJ
second
Redick
round pick.
Second round. JJ Redick was signed. I think it was like a 3 mil, 4 years.
Yeah.
It's different. You know, a lot of NBA players aren't going broke anymore. One, they're having better spending habits. There's a lot more education on social media, and 2, they're just making a lot more money. Where back then, you know, after your first contract, if you weren't good enough, you're not going to get those 3 or 4 contracts. You get the rookie contract, then you start to get paid. Then your third one's usually like you're at your mecca, your peak, and then the 4th one, depending on how you do, you know, you get another one.
On what you are.
But it's crazy.
The thing too, the NFL, even though they make tons of money, a lot of like the education for like NFL, a lot of kids are probably shifting towards basketball too more. Just because now parents know, like, you know.
Yeah, and NBA money's all guaranteed too. You know, the NFL, crazy. Only one guy, you know, and he's a freaking scrub fucking for the quarterback for what's his name?
What's he?
He just got is it the Browns? Nah, I forgot. He got the guaranteed money.
This kid, right? Trevor Lawrence was the last one to get paid.
Well, Trevor Lawrence got paid, but before him, it was the dude that kept getting hurt.
Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, Deshaun Watson.
Oh, he's got
fully guaranteed.
$300 million guaranteed?
Fully guaranteed, all of it.
That's fucking crazy.
But they still won't guarantee it. But yeah, football is the sport where a lot of people would take pay cuts. NBA, it's very rare because like just the way the game is set up and the money. Like Tom Brady took a pay cut, you know, on his second, end of his career with the Patriots and with Tampa, just so he can put a winning team together. The NBA, it doesn't happen as much. Like, the max guys deserve max because they're creating so much more revenue for the teams, because one superstar can change an organization. In baseball and football, you can have one great player. Think of baseball. You had Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. The best two players on the planet on the same team that couldn't even make the playoffs.
We can almost make an argument that Mike Trout has been the best player for the last 10 years, and you might have had for the next 10 years, the best player in Shohei Ohtani, overlapping.
Yeah, the only guy that's better than both of them is Aaron Judge. But that shows you, though. But look in New York, you put a good team together, and obviously they have their holes. Fortunately,
they're what, 4-13 now?
Yeah, they lost 5 of their last 6 series. They're playing really bad because they need a new third baseman, first baseman, reliever. Yeah. But like with Soto and Judge, and the top of their lineup,
the Grady Racers,
it's crazy. Yeah,
they're playing well. Glaber, bro.
Torres is playing better. They got to sell him while his stock's high. Yeah, because he's never going to be good.
No.
He had 30-something home runs his second year, and then just never picked it back up. He's not as big of a bust as like Gary Sanchez was, but he's not good.
Gary Sanchez got so much opportunity, bro. They just kept believing in him. Who's playing third right now?
DJ LeMahieu. They need a new.
But
third.
He's a utility guy.
They need a new third baseman. Rizzo ain't performing at first. He's hurt on and off. And then our catching's they're not good either.
No,
and our bullpen's not good.
Austin Wells and who's
Cabrera, whatever his name. No, not Cabrera.
No.
Trevino. Yeah, they're both not getting it done.
Yeah. And then who's at left field? Oh, okay. No, the outfield's fine.
Yeah, Verdugo, Judge, and
Soto. Yeah.
Our 1 through 5 is really good. It's everybody else and our relievers. That's like the holes. And for the Yankees never have a problem in the regular season. They could be a top 3-5 team in the regular season. It's just since 2009, they haven't been able to even make a playoff run. Pitching.
Yeah.
And you're not going to beat the Astros. You're not going to beat the Orioles, who are arguably the best team in baseball. And they're young and they're not scared of the Yankees.
Yeah, son. This kid's bumming it too. The Dominican kid, I think, the pitcher, Gil.
Yeah, Gil.
He started off
super hot. He started off Cy Young numbers.
Yeah, now he's fucking getting murdered. I know his last two starts he got murdered.
And you can't really trust a few of the other guys on the team. Stroman, he's hit or miss. Cole will be back. He'll be a horse as usual. But yeah, it's sad. Yankee fans.
Who else is there pitching for us?
Nasty Nestor Cortez.
Okay, he's
playing all right.
He's consistently mediocre.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
And then there's probably one other guy I'm not thinking.
Yeah, because we said 4: Cole, Nestor, Stroman, Gil, and then I don't know who number 5 is.
Yeah, somebody.
Point is, it's not great.
But yeah, it's crazy what you can do to to a team, with their culture and mindset and momentum. It's crazy important in sports and in life. It's if you're not in the right mindset, you're never going to do well. One of the best quotes I've ever heard in baseball was Mike Trout was I go up to the plate every time being confident I'm going to get a hit every single time, because I know I'm the best player out here. And he's even if I wasn't the best player out here or didn't think I was, you're just never going to win if you're going with that mindset. And it's crazy what the power of the mind can do.
Yeah.
And psychology of just having a winning mentality even when you're not winning, because it really puts that out there. If you're going out with negative energy or negative output, it's going to be bad. But in a sport where you get paid millions of dollars to fail, the best players in the world fail 3 out of 10 times. That you just got to fail better. And if you go with the mindset of I'm great and it I put the work in, then that's when you're actually going to have better results of just failing a little less.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. If you take that into any other business, you're not going to be in business if you fail that much. But if you use that mindset of hey, we're great at what we do, we're rock stars in real estate, we're going to get deals and close or whatever business you're in, that's half the battle. Just realizing that you can actually do it.
That's probably the biggest battle, right? Especially us, we pivot
monthly.
Yeah. So if you're not fucking confident, I always tell myself that either you're going to believe whether you think it's true or not, whether you're going to believe that it's you're going to figure this out, or just quit.
Yeah.
Don't stay. I'm not coasting. It's either when you talk about okay, we solidified, looks like Tennessee. Now we're trying to solidify Jersey. But right now we're focused on PA to see if those KPIs are true. I have to believe that what we're doing is going to solidify PA, for example. And then I'm okay, now we got PA set. Now, okay, let's go to Jersey. Let's go to Let's see what's happening in Ohio. Let's see what's happening in South Jersey. But like, it's because I believe that we're going to figure it out. It's just keep going. Yeah. So you have to believe that it's going to work. If you don't, for one, me and you will be bored as fuck, and then it won't be doing that. It'll be too boring. But it's also like, like I like to see things like, like it's cool to see Tennessee now.
Yeah, it really is. And to your point, like, not just having a positive attitude, but just being willing to take action. Yeah. Most people don't even take action, like, in what they do, and they just kind of let things go. And if you're just like the type of person to just keep letting things go where your business isn't where you want it to be, like at that point, just close up shop and go work for somebody else because you just don't have the drive. For us, it's like, hey, we want to make sure, what we're doing, we're giving it 110% before you make a decision if we should move on or not or pivot. And it's just taking action, looking at the numbers, the KPIs, whatever you're seeing, and just being like, hey, first of all, an understanding of what you're looking at to then now gauge, do I need to pivot or can we keep using what we're doing? An example is, we run our numbers, right? Like in Tennessee, we, have a market there where we purchase properties for another investor and they take them on or they sell them to other investors. And, every 46 total leads, we get 2 contracts. Yeah. And, we're very confident in that because we've been doing this now for 6 months and we've gotten them a shit ton of contracts, but they weren't performing on the other end of those contracts, so you go in with less confidence. And once we start going in with less confidence with locking up the deals, we're not going to lock up as many, and we have to believe that other person's going to perform, or you can't really do this. Yep. So like now that we changed things and took action steps of like, hey, we got you guys 7 contracts this month, we closed on 2, that's unacceptable, especially since they're underwriting the deal and giving us a number. Now, instead of blaming somebody else, we like to take accountability, and always say like, what could we do better? So something I do now is like, hey, he's making a mistake on just me giving him an idea of the property from like a just talking to the seller, like the characteristics of the home, bed bath count, layout, square footage, and all of the details that the seller will fill us in, we usually make an offer on. Now we're realizing in Tennessee, it's different than Jersey, where we're able to make those offers and be close, where we're 20, 30, 40K off. Yeah. And now that changes, one, something to not a deal, and 2, you don't have the power to renegotiate or actually do something because you went in so off of what actually is going to make somebody money. Yeah. So now what we pivoted to the action step is, hey, well, how about we get photos first for every single property that wants to offer, or access up front where we get to walk it and then know the person we're working with could 100% close on it at that price, because we understand what we're good at. We're good at getting contracts at a high volume and leaving the door open to have due diligence and time in any state. Yep. But what we weren't good at was closing these and converting them. And instead of blaming the other parties, what we've been doing is just taking more accountability of what could we do better so that rate is higher. Yeah.
And I think that's it, right? Because you're talking 2 out of 7, right? Let's say because now we're pivoting and we need photos or we need a walkthrough, right? Maybe that 7 turns into 5 or 6, but that 2 turns into 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's because now we understand the market we're in, and you can know with your partnerships how much you're probably projected to make throughout the year. So now where our head goes is, how can we be more efficient? And then it's now putting those processes in place so you don't lock up 8 contracts to make $20,000. Can I lock up 30,000, can I lock up 5 to make that money, or 4? Because now you just want to make it easier to scale. And the only way to do that is if you put the SOPs and processes in place, but you can only do that once you know everybody's delivering the way they need to. Yep. And that's why we had to kind of pivot to photos or access, where it might take more time, might kill a little momentum on some of the properties. That's fine. But, we'll take that over locking up more than what is actually there.
Yeah. And if you have like the big goal in mind, then these decisions make sense, right? Because if, let's say, again, if we're coasting, now it's like, we won't look at the numbers. We'll just keep going 2 for 7 and at the end of the year be like, oh, okay, we did this, and then just keep moving, right? But if we're like, we're trying to fucking own all this shit. Like, in order for us to continue like going to different markets, we have to be as efficient as possible in each single market, right? Because now we're utilizing the shit out of our resources. Because if you're going fucking unorganized, getting 7 contracts, that means that's 7 times that you're trying to lock these properties up. That's 7 times that you're not talking to someone else who's actually ready to close, right? Like, and then now multiply that shit 10x because you're in 10 different markets. You know how much time is being fucking wasted?
Yeah, and there's only so many amount of leads you can handle in a day.
Yeah.
And at that point, you'd rather just focus on areas that are going to make you more money than just going through the motions to make, a lot less.
Yeah.
And you got to enjoy what you're doing. Like if you're out here in this one market and it's not working for you, you got to pivot, look how the real estate market as a whole is doing. And we know we're not in a 2022, 2023 market where things were just like changing a lot. And we just had no idea what was going on. We were kind of playing catch up, just reactive.
Yeah.
Now we're being a lot more proactive, but it's not easy, every day you got to kind of just go in with like, the mentality, like our team's going to perform. Like I said, positive attitude, everybody's going to do their part and, just see where things go.
Holding ourselves accountable, which I think that's one of our superpowers. Like me and you talk almost every day. And if I drop the ball on something, there is no like, oh, I don't want to hurt Ronnie's feelings or, oh, right. It's like, yo, Ronnie, you said this, like that property, right? We're checking it to see if that guy closed on it, right? Because if someone was able to pay 30 grand more than what I thought the number was, then I need to then be like, yo, Ronnie, what the fuck? Like,
either your buyers just weren't strong enough for that market or we misran the numbers.
Misran it. Yes, something happened.
Exactly.
Because the person was ready to sell it at a certain number. I thought it was this number. If the person's 30K plus, I'm like, fuck. Right? Now it's like I either need to find who that person is, because if that guy's overpaying, or maybe it's just like we said, it's a rental, so they don't care if they're not making a spread up front. It's a long-term hold. Regardless, I should know that person.
Yeah, and you also learned like, oh, we should get an appraisal done on multifamilies just to make sure like we actually know the value of more than a two, because there's going to be a lot of question marks. And then now your true buyers weren't even able to give you a confident number because they didn't really believe what it could sell for on the back end, and they have no skin in the game, so they don't care. They'll just move on to another one.
Yeah.
Whereas we maybe could have, locked it up for 60 days and really figured it out. But we do, 2-3 weeks due diligence on those kind of properties. So, a lot to learn from it. But all we can ask is that, we hold each other accountable for it. We learn from it.
Yeah.
And now we know next time, for our multi, we're going to get an appraisal done and we're going to figure out what happens until this closes, so we can talk to the buyer, figure out, what they look for, so we can either add them to our list or, run our numbers a little differently.
That's a nice little like adjustment you made on your own there. Like we didn't talk about this. Like that you try to get the buyer that's
exactly.
Like we didn't talk about it. You just started saying it. I was like, oh shit, that's a good idea.
It's pretty like helpful because hey, I have a good relationship with this seller. Let's see how good my relationship is with them. If they'll give me their info, a lot of times during a transaction they won't.
I get it.
But after, hey, could you do me a favor? I walked you through, guys, how to sell your house, the whole process. You said you liked me. Can you give me that buyer's number just so I can introduce myself and try to work a relationship with them? If they say no, then I'll just go to that title company and ask them, hey, who closed on the property with this LLC, and then Ronnie can figure out from there who that is. But we're going to get beat sometimes. So if you're going to get beat, why not still create some value from it?
It's no ego over here, man.
Have a relationship from it. Yeah, and I got beat, a couple weeks ago with a seller that direct mail. We, sent out a letter. The guy calls me. Him and his sister want to sell their house. I go through our process.
Brunswick.
He's Brunswick.
Gotcha.
I go through their process. I make him a cash as his offer, a listing offer, and a creative offer, because we always try to make 3 offers every time we talk to a seller. And the seller says he wasn't ready because he had to get his tenant out. I told him I wouldn't buy it with the tenant because we've gotten burned a few times with buying with tenants, and we realized a lot of investors wanted vacant. The only thing is I usually buy virtually. In Jersey, I can go to the appointments, but I got so used to buying out of state and in other areas where I don't need to go on appointments. And most of the times we do a good enough job to get the deal locked up from, the first call, or if the seller's ready. This time the guy was like, hey, I'm not ready. So I gave him a range of what I could buy it for and what I could list it for. He said, great, I'll let you know in the next couple of weeks once the tenant leaves. And, I'll give you a shot to buy it. Our offer was a little higher than other people because other people walked it. And he felt like they were more serious because they walked it. And he kept saying it's okay, but I should have realized that for that type of deal that's really good, where you buy it at, let's say, $350, put in 80, 90K, you could sell it for in the sixes. There's a good 50 to 80K profit margin there, at least, for somebody to take the deal on.
Yeah, let me see. Let me run that real quick. So 350, you put in, let's say, 90K. You're in at 440. Hold it. Let's say it takes a year just for easy math. So let's say it cost you $7,000 to close up front. So now you're in for 447. Holding costs throughout.
455.
At 30K, if you're doing hard money and a higher, let's just say fuck it. So you're in 447. So you're at 477. Now let's say you have to sell it now. Just put 10% on that shit just to make it easier. So now you're at another 47,000 plus the 70. You're in for 520. Let's just say 525. Fuck it. Let's say you sell this motherfucker for 600. Let's just say 600. I think it was low. We said low sixes.
Yeah, say 600.
Let's just say 600. You're fucking walking away with 75 grand.
Yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
And for those type of deals, what I could have done better is just go in person just to shake the guy's hand and see if I can get a close right then and there. Because long story short, a couple weeks later, I hit the seller up. He ghosted me. And a friend of mine who buys real estate in Jersey called me and was like, yo, I got a really good deal in East Brunswick. And I'm like, oh, East Brunswick, like, where at? He's like, oh, on this street. And I was like, oh, wow. He's like, yeah, I got this deal. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I was actually looking at that property. And he's like, oh, yeah? And I was like, oh, like, let me know how you guys closed it. Like, I'm, just want to learn. Like, I got beat. He was like, oh, my guy went in person, and I know his guy's a good closer. He, got the paperwork signed and was going to, help get the tenant out. And they just, sent it to another buyer for, I think the buyer's paying a little over $350, so they're going to make a nice fee. And I just learned a lot from it. What I learned is on competitive deals in areas, I can go see it, make the decision to go see it, even if the seller says it's okay not to, just because I know I'm always a little better in person, and I might have a chance to close it or at least make that offer up front.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's another thing too, right? How fast we're getting to make a decision. I remember how we started, right? We were saying like, okay, we're gonna pivot and make a decision in 3 months. We started. We're like, after every quarter, we'll see. And then we were like, yo, that's not enough. So then we were like, after every month, we'll see. And then we're like, fuck, we're still getting burned.
But see, that's the wrong mentality. It shouldn't be a timeline. It should be based off of situations that happen, right?
Yeah.
So a situation happens, you should be learning that day or that next day if the outcome wasn't what you guys wanted, because that's the way to learn from it, right? Yeah. Like, the only way to get better is to go through something. And to go through it, if you're not going to make that change right then and there, shame on you, because then you're going to let it happen to you 2 or 3 more times, like Ronnie not doing an appraisal on a multifamily, or like me not going in person.
Can't do that again.
On a property I know it's good. And funny story, I had a Tennessee lead that was hot. The guy's like super anal about everything, wants us to go see it first. Knowing me, I push for, hey, can we get photos and we make you an offer on the phone? He's like, yeah, definitely. Let me see your LLC information. Went really deep on who we were. And that's when I pivoted. Instead of just making him that offer and saying, hey, we're going to sign over the phone and get this done, I was like, what if I can tell you I can get my partner out there later today just so we could walk it, and then the offer could be fully guaranteed. But I still would like a few days due diligence just to get other contractors in. He's like 100%. Sent my
That's probably what he wanted to hear.
Sent my partner to the property. He walked it, came up with a great reno. We figured out what we could buy it at. A day later, he tried to get more money. I told him, no, this is the best I can do because I'm confident in it because we walked it. We ended up, settling at a price 30, 40K less than what he wanted, but he knew I was definitely getting it done, and that's the security he wanted. So if I would have went the other way where there's no security, and I need time to access it and go through those hoops, he would have found someone that is giving him what he wants, which is the security that the house is definitely going to get sold.
40K less too.
Yeah, he took 40K less. He wanted 375. We got him at 335. Yeah. And because of that security. But if I would have kept going my way, which is, hey, I want to get photos, lock it up, and then do it, then now I would have lost a deal because I wasn't listening to his needs. Just because I'm used to doing something, that's okay to go off my process if I acknowledge it.
Yeah.
But if you don't go off your process like I did at that other time, you're going to get burned.
Yep.
And then how many situations are you going to allow until you learn your lesson?
So you make a move. Yeah, bro. And I mean, that I'm proud of, that, like, especially me and you, like, we learned. Like, it's not to say that we're constantly changing things all the time. But what I do like is that does this need to get changed? And if it does, we don't need any, like, okay, did we fuck up here? Yeah. Will we do this again if we don't change? Probably. So we're going to have to make a change right now. And that's it. And that's how you do it, bro. You have to, like, make changes immediately. And, like, now I finally see, like, okay, like, I know where we're going, and I know, like, that it's it's not that it's more easy to manage, like we said, but now because we have like the one thing, right? We have our North Star of where we want to be.
We know where we want to take the company.
So now every decision is a little easier, even like the way, like, we don't mind having awkward conversations with people because it doesn't, like, I don't care. Like, it's either you're gonna help us get to this, or, like, I'm good, right? Like.
Yeah, and people think, like, maybe if we ask for something and they say no or it doesn't work, that we're going to hold anything against them. And it's like, no, we really just don't care or have enough time to care. We're just focused on getting that next thing done to get our goals aligned, right? Yeah. So, every year we make sure our goals are aligned as a company and individually of, like, where we want to go, how much money do we want to make, how often do we want to be going to other states, like, what are we okay with? Then now from there, once we figure out what we want, now you can just reverse engineer, like, how to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool that we all hold ourselves accountable, right? Like, I'm, in the acquisitions, running the sales. you're taking care of all the dispositions and management. And then, we have Michael who's handling all the marketing and Ryan just handling all the financing.
Yeah.
And then Jay's handling the projects where we take it on. But everybody's holding themselves accountable. Yeah. And if they're not, we call it out. 100%. Right now, we're getting a lot of deals in one of our markets and not a lot of deals in other markets. And me and you were just looking at the KPIs like, it makes sense. It takes us how many leads in Jersey right now to get a deal?
We're at 60, total, like all forms of
just people that are like, hey.
69, if I'm not mistaken.
So almost 70 leads.
That's a lot.
Yeah, even though people might not even be interested, right? Like we're just talking about people who we get an address.
Yeah, so we call it like
number.
the first level of the funnel, right? Yeah, so the first level of the funnel is that they hit our CRM is confirmed name, address,
and they own the property.
General interest in selling.
And they own the property.
Yeah, and they own the property.
So barely any qualifications.
Yeah, so then they hit our funnel. So that counts for us as a lead, not a qualified lead, just a lead. So we need 70 of those to hit in order for it to be one of those to be converted into one contract, not a closed deal, contract.
Yeah, and that's tough, because now you're looking at the numbers. How many leads do I got to get in to make that happen?
And keep in mind, for cold calling in, let's say, or anything outgoing in Jersey, it's way larger. This is total. Now you're. This is all total, not just inbound or outbound. Exactly.
Inbound, it's going to be lower because people are reaching out to you. Outbound, it's higher because you're now a numbers game of calling.
Correct.
them.
And that's why I like PA, by the way, because PA outbound is 60.
Yeah.
So that's actually not. I mean, now that I saw how much we're producing daily, I'm like, fuck. I thought it was a higher number. So even there, still, I'm kind of tracking it, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I wish it was a higher daily number. Because now it's still going to take, like I told you, about 10 days, maybe 12.
Just to even get something.
Just to hit that 60 mark, right? So it's still not terrible, but that only tells me that means we're really looking at just 2 per month. And I would like 4. Yeah, so that means we would have to cut that literally in half.
Which just isn't realistic because of just the way the cold calling system works.
Yeah.
But I think the more important part is we just know our numbers. So I would say anybody who's, listening or, does deals or in any business, just know your numbers. Just know how much money you're spending to make money.
Yeah.
Period. It doesn't matter what you're doing. How much money am I spending on this and what do I want my return to be? If I spend $5 on marketing, I want my return to be how many X? 5X, 10X, 15X, 20X. It depends on your business and what you're okay with. But if you don't know that, you're never going to be able to have a business because then you don't understand what's going on in your business.
And at the very least, maybe you can because you're making so much spreads that it almost doesn't matter. Let's just make believe, right?
Yeah, some people, I guess. Yeah.
But let's say, even then, when you try to sell that motherfucker, good luck trying to sell something where you don't know like what you have.
And I don't know many businesses that are successful that don't know their numbers.
Yeah.
Maybe like a one-man band that's just doing things for themselves, or one person, just kind of small group, like just doing things to pay their own salary and live.
So you don't have a business, right?
Yeah,
you have a high paying job.
And a lot of people. We got someone coming in real quick. How's it going?
Hey. But it's what was I saying?
We're talking about the KPIs.
Yeah, the KPI. So, like, if you want to sell something, like, that's another thing that I told you, like, even longer term vision, right? Like, the cool thing with potentially like this, what we're doing is that we're used to, right? Like, you buy something at 200K, you fix it, you sell it, you're selling at a 1X, right? You're only selling if the property is worth 400, you can't sell that for 800.
No, you can only sell it for what it's worth.
But there's no X on it. You can't. Like, this just is what it is. That's how residential real estate is going to work. With something like this business that we're kind of creating and all these KPIs and everything, like, you can sell this at a multiple. That's the awesome shit about this.
Yeah, because you're creating processes and SOPs in place that it doesn't matter who's doing it. It's, what we've built.
Yeah. And imagine now, like, even moving further down the line, if we want, we can start now locking these guys in. Like, so, like, having, like, Tennessee's just an example, but anybody, like, almost locking them in as, like, committing to spending X amount of marketing. Like, if not, then we're going to have to stop working with you because now, you know what I'm saying? Like, almost long-term, once we're established, and now we have to make tough decisions. Like,
good tough decisions. I got 3 markets that are working out well, which is the one we cut.
Which was going to commit full-time with us. That's going to commit X amount of dollars at minimum to market to make sure that we get enough leads to get them the contract, but it still feeds us. Whoever signs that. But now that, you're creating, like you have the process, which is the hardest thing, but now you also have almost like, I don't want to say guaranteed, nothing's guaranteed, but like almost like a committed X amount of marketing dollars coming in.
Yeah, to create those opportunities.
And these KPIs show you that if X amount of dollars come in, it is very, very likely that it's going to convert into this.
Yeah, it's true.
That shit's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
It's
and it's
cool,
just cool,
bro.
just like with the KPIs, just knowing where we stand every day. It's like, all right, this week, 50 leads came in. How many leads does it take me usually to get a deal? Okay, cool, 100. All right, I need at least another 50 for this to work out. We got somebody else coming in.
Yep. Hey, how's it going? Yeah. We got interrupted.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So where do you want to pick it up?
I mean, we spoke business. What about goals personal-wise?
Personal goals, still definitely trying to get, instead of like a 2-unit, my goal by the end of 2025 is to get a 4-unit in Jersey.
Smart.
Just to, like, rent out most of the units, maybe live in one if I have to, but, potentially just rent it out, all 4. And then other personal goals is to just create more relationships with investors for, the team, just to get more people on our side that we can close deals for. And, just keep having the freedom to enjoy my time while doing this.
Yeah, bro. I think that's the most important thing. I definitely try to max out. Like, this shit is fun, what I do, but I also want to fucking go to jiu-jitsu. I want to work out, want to go to DR, me and Amaris try to go on 2 vacations minimum. We try to, like, have a relationship, try to chill with the kids enough time. I want to chill by myself, which, like, now, like, well, you're experiencing it now with being with Veronica and all that, but then, like, let's say kids on the line, like, more and more you want, like, now you're managing fucking your own relationship with yourself, with her. Let's say if you end up having kids, with your family members, with your friends, and now with your job. So, I have it, like, so for me, it's fucking, I have it, and then, like, your health, and then your money, like, personal wise, like, it's a lot. Like,
yeah, life ain't easy.
Yeah.
And you got to just have those North Stars and those goals, and obviously, like, financial freedom, keeping up relationships, your health, family time, friend time, that all kind of goes into the circle or the box you're creating, and just learning how to allocate one more than the other, what's more important this week versus next week.
Yeah.
But still finding time for yourself. No, I agree. But yeah, I'd say, and then, company goals, just to try to, make $1 million for the company.
Yeah.
And just do what we do.
7 figures always.
And just enjoy the process of it. And, we've been doing this, together for over 3 years now. So I feel like we're getting closer and closer to having this all figured out. But, shit ain't easy.
No. Shit is hard. But like I said, I'd rather do this as long as it's working and it's going towards working better and better and better. I'd rather do this than fucking, like, have a 9 to 5.
Yeah. 100%. That's why we're doing it.
Yeah.
Finding something you like, you're never really working. And we both found something we're good at.
It's just fun.
It works out. But, yeah, man, I'm excited to see what the next 2 quarters bring for us. And then personally, in the next 6 months, a year, see where we're at. But, yeah, man, I feel really good about 2024 compared to 2023.
2023 was fucking brutal.
Got a lot more good stuff in the pipeline.
Yeah.
And we just learned a lot more about ourselves. So it's cool.
Yeah, I think so. Fuck it. I mean, naturally, we've kind of ended here.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah, man.